Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. So today we are discussing something that is fundamental to the modern era of IWC. With the arrival of the 7-day Portugueser in the year 2000, it became clear that that large-scale 7-day automatic movement would form a foundation for future complications. And so, in 2003, IWC launched the 5021, the Portugueser Perpetual Calendar with 7 days of power reserve. So this is the 5021-07 in yellow gold, and it is 44.2 millimeters in diameter, 15.5 millimeters thick, and 52.5 from lug tip to lug tip, with a 22 millimeter spacing in between the lugs. Get my power cord out of the way. Throw on the watch on my wrist, which is 16 centimeters in circumference. It is large. Now, I'll let you judge, given the benefit of a little bit of distance, whether this is too big for my wrist. Keep in mind, it's a Portugueser, and since the original reference 325 of 1939, that has always meant an oversized watch. So I'm not going to comment on whether this is too big or just right. But I think, if anything, my wrist is the largest one that can't wear the watch or the smallest that can wear the watch. Keep that in mind. My wrist is 16 centimeters in circumference. There's your cuff shot. Taking a look at the rest of the hardware, we've got a folding clasp, IWC branded with satin and polish externally, and apparently a sticker that's keeping it shut. Let me remove that sticker real quick. Okay. Sometimes you just have to get that tag out of the way. Inside we have that beautiful and now long since forsaken International Watch Co. logo, which I absolutely love. The B, that B I believe is Bucelador. So that is the supplier that makes this. When you see BRO on IWC clasps or bracelets, that means Brogioli. It's a friction fit that closes with a snap. You can see satin and polish externally. The strap right here, IWC factory strap, no crimping, no gouging, calf on the bottom, alligator leather mat on the top with a little bit of stuffing or bolstering to give it volume. You see we have a monotone stitch, and then we have sheer cut edges lacquered for refinement. We also have the early 2000s IWC fish crown, not the Probus Scafusia crown. So this is 30 meters water resistant, satin finished mid case, blended lugs. This is very true to the history of the Portugueser, right back to the beginning. And the original Portugueser was built oversized because the Portuguese importers wanted a wristwatch that was as accurate as a pocket watch. And so IWC realized at the time the only technical way to achieve this was to use a pocket watch caliber in a wristwatch. So it wasn't a converted watch, it wasn't a pocket watch with lugs welded on or an officer's case or anything like that. It was a purpose-built wristwatch but with a big pocket watch caliber on the inside. The result was a monster for its time but decades ahead of trends. Taking a look at the dial side now, we have a combination of a metallic silver with sub-registers, providing a beautiful cruciform symmetry. In fact, all but the little indicator with the year, the decade, the century, and the millennium. And yes, this watch does come with the century slide, a little glass vial sealed in wax, so you can install subsequent centuries as necessary. Your watchmaker installs that particular feature. Other features here that you would recognize from the 1939 version: leaf hands, vertically arrayed Arabic numerals, and running small seconds. We've got quite a few QP features here too. This is the IWC Kurt Klaus, that is Kurt Klaus designed perpetual calendar system that debuted on the Ingenieur and the Da Vinci in 1985. And so what we can do here is we have a system that allows us to quick set everything: the day, the date, the month, the moon phase, even the year, even the decade. All you do is you use the quick set and everything adjusts in sync. We have both northern and southern hemisphere moon phases. So if you can set the date on a date just, you can set the perpetual calendar on this. It's mechanically programmed too, so these things won't go out of sync. Now you can see we do still have a running seconds hand, so one more withdrawal of the crown, and now you activate hacking seconds. You can set this watch to a reference time. We have a power reserve indicator coaxial with the date over here. So 7 days of power reserve, automatic winding. The movement, enormous, approximately 38 millimeters in diameter. The movement itself is bigger than a Datejust. It pivots on 64 joules. It is immensely complicated. It has a bidirectional IWC Albert Peloton pawl-based winding system that is very efficient. That is the grandfather of every pawl-based system, such as the more famous, or at least more prolific, Seiko Magic Lever and its many derivatives. This was the original. So an Albert Peloton winding system and a Kurt Klaus Perpetual Calendar. Kurt doing his work in the 80s and Albert Peloton designing the system in the late 40s for commercialization in the early 50s. You can see we've got the IWC Probus Confucia motto logo, a medallion in gold on the movement, a good solid watch made in Schaffhausen. This is a 5-position adjustment, which is chronometer standard, and though you may or may not be able to easily see it here, we've got an overcoil hairspring, so the watch keeps consistent time in every physical position. This is the reference 50611 movement. The base was the 5000, the original 7-day Portugueser, so it uses the original regulator assembly, which is functionally free-sprung and that you can't easily move the index. There's a micrometric screw for fine-tuning. Most of the timing changes would be done using variable inertia screws on the balance assembly. You can see on the arms the balance, that's how that is typically adjusted. A very precise and also very shock-resistant system. But the regulator, the beat rate, all of that would change later on. This is the earliest version with the 18,000 vibration per hour beat rate. You can see, although it's not an artisanally finished movement, it is an attractively finished movement, well worth a display case back. A rare watch. These early Portuguese perpetuals with the slow beat movement are hard to find, all the more so when they're in yellow gold. Reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.